Preparation usually starts about 45 to 120 days out from when you want to close on a home. We typically have folks come to us, especially for PCSs. They're coming around that 90, 120-day mark to start getting that preparation and know what they need to do with their finances. Again, it's important to do the financial review up front to get pre-approved, because for military, if you have an issue on your credit or you have an issue with your VA certificate of eligibility, that's something that can sometimes take months to get fixed. And we're not necessarily like civilians where all of a sudden it's just, oh, I'll wait to buy that home. You got your report date, and it's usually a hard report date, give or take a little bit. You got to make sure that we're moving. So that's where we always recommend it's important to reach out in that 90, 120-day window. We even have folks reaching out 6 months, a year in advance, so they're on the radar and make sure it's taken care of. But make sure you give yourself time to prepare. The next key takeaway is knowing that the time for closing, it's different than preparation. The time to close on a home is usually 15 to 45 days. And we typically see it at about 21 to 30-day close window. And for us, very good with VA loans. We typically close our VA loans in that 21 to 30-day window to make sure you can get your home quickly. As a military buyer, it's important to work with a lender that can do things relatively quickly, because think about it. That gives you a little more time to search for homes. If you got short orders and you found out you're moving in the next 60 days, it's good to have that extra 7 to 10 days to look for a home, knowing that your buying process can be pretty quick. Next, VA loan is a very powerful tool for military. Know that it is one of the most powerful tools that we have, and in about 85, 90% of situations, a VA loan is the best loan product to use when buying. That's what we strongly believe. Allows you to put no money down if you choose, but if you put money down, I mean, you put a down payment, you're actually rewarded on that, and we have other videos that talk heavily on it. But it's important to want to know VA loan's powerful for you. Next, if you're going to do a VA loan, note the VA appraisal is not a substitute for a true home inspection. Some people, especially from older times, might assume that the VA loan has an inspection done. It really doesn't. The VA appraiser checks on some items in the home. It's like a habitability check. They're making sure there's no peeling paint, the home is habitable, you can live in it. Checking windows, wood rot from insects, that kind of stuff is what they're looking for. But it's not a substitute for a full home inspection. You want to make sure you have an independent third party doing that whole home inspection to check the HVAC, check the roof, check all those items, because it's not the same thing. Next, get your team together. Make sure that you get your real estate agent and your lender on board at the beginning so you understand what you can go buy and how you're going to go buy it. The last two items really involve how you handle it on your end, and that is to make sure that you want to be involved. Sometimes folks assume, for like us as the lender or the great real estate agents we get to work for and with, that we're just going to do it all for you. We want to go out there and defend your work for you and make it happen, but you got to give us the input. So ask the questions, give us the feedback, listen, and make sure that you are involved in this process. It's not something you can just abdicate up in the air. It's a huge decision. Think of it this way. A good lender and a good real estate agent will enhance your decision-making, but you still got to make the decision. Lastly, communication. Please make sure you prioritize your communication and you're fast with it. Typically, if we have a slow closing, it's because we've had slow communication from the buyer or the seller or the agents in between. And the agents we love working with are always very quick at that. The buyer side, make sure you prioritize it, because that is what will help keep you going. So when you get requests from your lender, for example, try to get back to them within 24 hours. That is ideal. And if they're really saying, hey, we need this now, work to get that one for you to make sure you have a fast closing. Okay, going into some key term reviews. Major terms that we were just kind of hitting on some. Under contract is a big one. That simply means you've got a signed contract from the buyer and the seller, and you're rolling through that waterfall effect of inspections, financing, and title escrow work. Other major term that we have is the earnest good faith money. So this again is where you make that offer to the sellers and you say, hey, here's our offer. We're going to give you this money attached with it if we happen to walk away from the deal, not due to the contract. So you want to make sure that you talk with your agent, though, on is that refundable or not refundable? Different area of the country, treat it differently. But know that it's essentially, here's our offer, here's some money with it. If we walk away due to any reason outside of this contract, you can keep this. Good faith or earnest money. Next, a mortgage. If you're new to buying a home, you might know what a home loan is because you know what a car loan is. You know what other types of loans are. Think of it this way. A mortgage is just a home loan. Simply put, take it that way. VA loan. It's a type of mortgage, a type of loan that is specific to military members. Veterans can use it, Guard and Reserve, and a lot of active duty members assume because it says veteran, they might not be able to use it, but yes, active duty military can use the VA loan. Closing costs. This is something that is really important to understand because yes, you have the price of the home, but then there's closing costs associated with buying a home. We typically see closing costs at 1.5% to 3% of the sales price. What does this go towards? The primary reason for closing costs are to cover your taxes, your insurance, title fees, and sometimes lenders have some fees rolled in there as well. And you're going to get a breakout of those sheet. And typically, depending on the area of country you're in, we usually see that at between 1.5% and 3% of the sales price. Now, on VA loans, a little unique. You can do 0% down on the loan, but you still have those closing costs. However, the sellers, if you negotiate it, can agree to cover some or all of those closing costs. So another thing to keep in mind when you're going through the steps of putting an offer in. Next is our appraisal. Remember, the word appraisal just really means your double check of value. So appraisal, double check of value for if my home really is worth what we offered on. Not all appraisers are perfect, but it helps give you a good idea and you'll get a good detailed analysis of the value of the home. Escrow account. This could mean two different things. So escrow during the contract, like during the transaction phase, might mean that you are putting money with the title company or the attorney. The real definition of escrow is simply a third-party account to deposit funds. And so in the scenario there of the transaction, you might put your funds up with the title company or the attorney or maybe the real estate broker's office, and then it gets dispersed later, such as the earnest money or good faith money. Or us as a lender, we send your funds to buy the home, usually to a title office for an attorney office, and they disperse it when you close on the home. So know that escrow just literally means third-party account. Now, from a lender's perspective, we might talk escrow as well as a third-party account once you have your mortgage, of making it so that you can pay your insurance and your taxes in one payment. So rather than send a payment to us for principal and interest, send a payment to your insurance company and to the county for your taxes, escrowing in your mortgage payment means that you can do it all as one lump payment. We have an escrow account that then pays out your taxes and your insurance. That's the other meaning for escrow. Lastly, contingency. Just know it means condition or requirement. If you ultimately have a contingency in a contract, that means, hey, we are going to buy your home, for example, contingent on an appraisal, contingent on us having an inspection. From a lender side, you sometimes might hear, hey, you are approved contingent on the sale of your old home. So a lot of folks will be own one home and moving to buy another home, especially a lot of military families, happens all the time. And let's say you will qualify for this payment if you get rid of this old mortgage payment. So that means that you are approved for this loan contingent on this sale. What usually happens then is we line those up so the closings are right next to each other. We have had them within hours of each other so that you close on your old home and then you buy your new one and you have them set up back to back. It's an important thing to know. That's just what a contingent sale could mean. My name's Evan Kaufman, WeVett Home Loans, your VA loan originator. Really have enjoyed doing this for you. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. My email is evan@wevett.com, or you can send an email in to loans@wevett.com. And I really look forward to working for you on your next home move. Take care.